welcome back to this video. This is a continuation of the C# beginner series. If you are new here, kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell to know when new videos do come out. Previously, we had talked about what OOP meant. In this video, we'll be looking at the first of the three I mentioned, which is encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? In English, encapsulation is just enclosing something, like maybe enclosing it like a capsule or something like that, just making sure it is closed up. Now, so for us in C#, encapsulation is about putting fields, properties, methods to work within a single unit, which is usually a class. So it puts everything into a single unit. We have already seen this in action in C#, where we saw a class, and within the class we had fields, we had methods, and all of that. That is basically encapsulation. The class is encapsulating the fields, the methods, that is the action and characteristics. Just like a house, when you use maybe a house or a building, such a building, it's an encapsulation of properties like the number of lighting, like the number of staircases, if it's a story building, number of stories, for example, and then methods like maybe owning the light. That is an action. It encapsulates all these things when you say a house. So instead of having to think of all those nitty-gritty, we just encapsulate everything into a house. So encapsulation seeks to hide the internal implementation details of a class from the outside of the class. So just like with a building, when, for example, you want to turn on the light, I don't need to understand electrical appliances. For example, I don't need to be very electrical minded. In fact, I don't need to know anything about electricity to put on a light. The technique, the know-how for how the light comes on when you press the switch is being encapsulated. So the house is such that it has encapsulated that, and it has just provided for us that if you want to on the light, you just press this button and the light comes on, for example. So that is encapsulation. The internal workings, the internal implementation, the internal details are unknown to we, the users, that are not the house itself, but the house itself knows the logic for all those things. So when I press the button, the house knows how it will make use of these things to actually perform the particular action the user is trying to achieve. And finally, this is achieved using access modifiers and properties in C#. If you do not know what access modifiers are or properties in C#, I do strongly encourage us, please go back and watch the video on access modifiers and on properties in C#. So let's look at this with an example. Let's look at encapsulation with an example. So here we have our project here, and let's say we create a class. Let's just have a class. So let's say we have a class, and so let's say some class. Let's call it all. Since we said house, let's use a house then. Let's just use a house. So let's say we have a house, a building, and we want to work with this building. So what are the properties? What are the characteristics of the house? So just one or two. We'll say the first is we have the number of lighting. So let's say number of lighting. So we have number of lighting points. Yes, let's use that number of lighting points, which is going to be a number, so it's an integer. We have, what else do we have within the house? Let's say the number of staircases, something like that. So number of, or rather, maybe we just use, say, is a boolean, and probably we could say as staircases, something like that. So if there is a staircase in the house, so this is like a property. Then let's have one action, which is turning on the lights. So let's say just is going to be void. It just turn on the light. and then all we just do here is just console write line, and we'll say light on. And this is our class, and what we are doing here is that we're encapsulating this. But you know what this means is that if we come out here and we say house and we say new house, we have access to do maybe number of lightning points and say we have 1 lightning point now. So here what encapsulation really does is that, for example, if I want to turn on the light, all I need to do is just say dot turn on the light, and internally me here that the method is being called turn on the light, this place doesn't know about how the light is turned. It doesn't know what is done to turn on the light. All it just knows that once you call this function turn on the light, somehow the light comes on. So basically this is encapsulation. So we are encapsulating the logic, the internal implementation of how a light is turned on. So if we run this console application now, we see here that it shows light on, because although here where we called it, we didn't know how the light is on, but internally the house knows. That is, when I say the house, the object that comes forth out of this class knows how it ons the light. It just does the console log. But here we didn't need to do that. We didn't even know what it entails, and it was encapsulated. We didn't need to be bothered about how a light will be on at this point. This is basically encapsulation in C#. I hope I broke it down, and I hope it was clear enough. If you still have questions, please drop them in the comment section, and I will see us again in the next video where we talk about the next pillar of OOP.